So welcome everybody to the DYC Woman and the Warrior podcast. Today is January the 2nd, 2023. It feels weird saying it, but it feels good, right? So happy New Year to everybody. You know how sometimes when you're writing down, like when it crosses over to the new year, you might have a, just you make a mistake and you write the old year. I haven't done that yet. I think I'm mentally so ready for 2023.
Yes.
So I'm glad that it's here. And so today I have with me my distinguished and most honored guest, my brother, my dear friend, Soke Haisan Kaleak. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you guys didn't catch our first interview, you can go back and look at that. I think it was last year in April of 2021. And that's on YouTube. You can find that on my YouTube channel, Deidre Y. Cole. And we had a great interview. As a matter of fact, I got so much positive response from that interview. And it was like, did y'all rehearse that? It was just, everything was so in sync, from what we had on to just the flow of things. And I guess when good energy comes together, that's what happens. That's the result that you get, right? You don't have to rehearse that. So thank you again. And so I guess what I wanted to do is, and we've seen each other at least 3 times, I think, since then. We've talked several times, seen each other in New York a few times. Then in DC was, I believe, the last time that we saw each other. And every time that we meet and we talk, it's so easy to communicate because, like I said, the energy is so vibrant and it's so real and authentic. I think that's probably what makes it that way. It's just easy to talk and laugh and all of that. Got a chance to break bread with you and your queen and some other wonderful people. And again, I'm just honored to have you here. I know you bring a wealth of experience, so I'm gonna shut up here in a minute. But if you could, before we really get into it, like I said, they can go back and watch the other interview because we talked a little bit more about your background and things like that. But if you could just briefly, tell the people how long you've been practicing the martial sciences, who your teacher is, what style it is that you teach and that you that you've studied, and finally, I wanted to ask you, what is like your most favorite thing about being a martial scientist?
Well, first of all, let me say thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you and DYC. I hope I'm coming through clear. I'm honored to be one of your first guests for 2023.
Yes.
You and I discussed about the positive motion, the laser focus, being focused on goals and achievement. And I start out by thanking you and congratulating you for all of the stuff that you've done in 2022 to just connect to 2023. So all your listeners stand by because DYC is going to do this thing. Thank you for and letting me see a lot of your projects before a lot of you guys get to see it, as in the T-shirts and being on the podcast and things like that. So I feel like I'm a good sounding board.
Yes,
I'm on the advisory board. So hopefully your listeners and viewers will see and feel your positive motion as you move forward and recognize your journey in martial science as well. So I just want to say that and thank you and congratulate you as well. But me, myself, Soke Haisan Kaleak, sometimes referred to as Baba, because I started in the martial art when I founded a system in 1974, and that system was called Kuroshi Do. But then, as evolution goes about, I actually founded another version of it in addition to it, called Kuroshi Kai. And the Kuroshi Kai Khan is really, the Kai Khan is really about family. So instead of just being a martial arts style, I revert back to the African way of doing things, a tribe, a family, and family sharing knowledge and food and everything else with each other. That is really my heart's sake when it comes down to actually perpetuating myself forward in the martial art. I learned that from my teacher, Supreme Grandmaster Dr. Moses Powell of Sinubusu Jiu-Jitsu. And, he's a friend of your teacher. And again, that family thing starts to happen. And we later on discovered that we shared martial art roots together. And it's so powerful because as generations go by, we need to have people who understand legacy. This is I think I stopped counting at 54, but this is my 54th
Which I
year.
don't understand because you don't look 54 years old. So I don't know. I'm gonna need to see some
Thank you so much.
driver's license, a birth certificate, something. I tell you.
Yeah, something, right? But as we're doing this broadcast now here in 2023, 2023 will make my 70th year on this planet. So
Wow.
I'm 70 years old this year. But inside that, my martial career has really been a journey of what I call martial science now. You know, there's the martial practitioner, there's the martial artist, there's the martial scientist. And the scientist is the person who learns to relate things back more to the factual things. Human being, planet Earth. Mm-hmm. Let's say a good portion of your attacks will be from a human being. You know what I mean? You can get attacked by a bear too, now. Let's not think that won't happen. You know, shark attacks. Right. But walking through the streets, you're more likely going to be attacked by a human being. So Kung Jiu-Jitsu has a form of it called the PIA system, a nerve striking. And I was allowed to be able to learn that from my teacher and pick up that aspect of it. And many of my brethren know these things as well, but I highlight that about the nerves and pressure points of the human body. So, you know, the journey continues because the science continues. Yes. And so as long as there's human beings, you know, like the medicines we practiced years ago are not the same medicines we practice now because we learn to evolve.
Everything is evolving, right?
Yes. And then, you know,
until it's dead.
Right, exactly. And then, well, you know, the thing about the dead part is that you got to remember our youth don't allow us to die. You know, if we pass that knowledge on, it's almost impossible for us to die unless they kill it. All right. But
that's a good point.
If we practice it, it will continue. So